Hey guys, welcome back to the Real Vermonter YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing another part on this 1964 Ford Thunderbird behind me. This is part 2. So the car started up well and it drove out here in the cold. It's like 60 degrees, so happy about that. Now I'm going to work on some cosmetic stuff, and I really hope all this car needs to make it shine up and look nice is a little cleanup and a light car wash. Paint's in pretty good shape as far as I could tell. It's just got that layer of dust on it, which you can pretty much just like go like that and get a layer of dust off. So here you can see it's definitely faded, and that's that dust you could see, and then the droppings are somewhat on the car. But the paint really doesn't look like it's got swirl marks or scratches on it. So hopefully it just cleans up real nice. I'm gonna go ahead and start by just giving the whole car a rinse off. So this is the type of stuff on the paint, hopefully you can see, that is on it, that a hose wouldn't quite take off. If you can see that. And now we'll do this with the soap mixture that the chemical guys provided us, and let's see if that makes that stuff go away. First pass, of course, but compare this and this panel. It's not bad. Let's keep going through the whole car, I guess. Obviously, this isn't a full, thorough detail job. If the next owner feels so obliged, I would encourage them to do that. And I just dried it off using the microfiber towels to make sure I didn't get any water streaks, and she's looking good. Sun's starting to go down tonight, so I'm gonna resume this tomorrow though. So there it is, the next day with it fully 100% dry. Really looks nice, really shiny. Oh, don't die on me. Okay, just lowering its idle, I guess. But yeah, you can see the reflections much better. There's no dirt on the paint anymore. So yeah, I'm happy with that shine. Now I'm gonna show you guys the problem it has with acceleration. All right, so I'm gonna try to show you guys the problem now. I need to put a new battery in this thing. I keep saying I'm gonna put a new battery in this thing, but I never do, so. Today I actually am gonna. All right, I got that battery out of there, put it in the Canyon. I'm gonna go to this auto parts store, get another battery, and then I'm also gonna pick up a fuel filter for it, so we can just throw those in at the same-ish time. All right, so I just bought that new battery and a new fuel filter, so I'll put that in, and then I'll show you what the car's doing first, and then put the new fuel filter in and see if that helps it at all. Okay, now that that's in, now I can show you what she does when you try to rev it up. So I press the gas, dies. I can press it slowly like this. Maybe not actually. Then it kicks in, but if I just give it a little more, it's like that. So for example, I'll put it in reverse now. And let's say I'm trying to back up a hill. can't do it. And that's not even, that's probably 1/4 throttle. It's not even more than that. So in order to go into reverse, you know, in order to drive this, you gotta be so gentle. You gotta be like, barely even press it. Or it'll stutter like that. Or you can do that. You can bump it a couple of times. Like that, but you just go. So that's something we gotta fix. Gotta reinforce with jack stands. So the fuel filter on these is right here. Yeah, right next to the oil filter. So these lines are cutting it a little close. I don't know if that's how it's supposed to be. Let's try to get this off of here. So these tranny lines are too in the way for me to get my fuel filter, to get my filter wrench up here. I'm gonna have to loosen those first. I'm gonna start by loosening those lines in here. I ended up undoing them from the hose clamps instead of from here because these are plastic connectors and I didn't want to break it because these are on there pretty good, those nuts. So I just undid both the hose clamps. There's the top one and then there's the bottom one. See if that gives us enough wiggle room. Oh, there's one more bolt right up in there that I got to take out in order to move these lines freely. But this is annoying. To get that bolt out, I have to take off the oil filter. Why'd you do that, Ford? All right. Take this guy off. And now I can definitely reach this bolt here. There we go, pull that out. Now we can move these lines out of the way. And now I got lots of access to the fuel filter. So my oil filter wrench was a little bit too large for this, so I stuck a microfiber towel here, and that got it off. It was on there really, really tight, if you guys can see. So I'm assuming this hasn't been changed in a long, long, long time, but we'll see when we pull it off. There she is. See what type of fuel comes out of it. Well, it looks like fuel, at least. At the very end, you can see that. That's a bit rusty. We'll pull it out of here. Woo! Look at this. Oh my gosh. That might be our problem. What? I have never, ever, ever, ever seen a fuel filter that bad. That is bad. Look at this, it's hard to imagine much fuel was even getting through that. Holy moly. I mean, that was almost like unbelievably bad, but cleaned it out. So here's the new one. This one comes with a metal protective kind of shell. Go ahead and plop on the new filter. Okay. And then put the O-ring in. And all right, tighten her up. Put this tranny line bolt back in. Right there. Oil filter's back in there. We'll tighten her up hand tight. Now I just got to reattach those tranny lines. I'm honestly surprised this car was running as well as it did with how dirty that fuel filter was. I wonder if that was just an overlooked item because everything else on this car was like kept up to date pretty damn well. I have all the service records and everything, but I don't see anything about a fuel filter. So it's probably been at least 20 years or 15 years since that thing's been changed out of there. Let's see if that transformed this into a beast, or if there's still some more tuning we got to do to make it run perfectly correct. What? Was that really the only issue with it? Oh, hang on. Just ran like a dream, but I am leaking fuel everywhere, so I must have not put that filter on tight enough. One sec. Sunset is pretty much upon us, but I just tightened it up. No longer leaking anything. So I'm just gonna go take it around the block to see if it still accelerates under load, and I'll show you a little bit, but I will definitely show you better views when it's sunny out. So it's a pretty steep hill. Give it some gas. Oh, it just kicks right on up. Woo-hoo-hoo. That was the only problem. This guy said his car was running rough the last several years. And I guess the shop never had the brains to check the fuel pump. Hard to believe. Because, yeah, he said he would try to go up a bridge and it would just stall out, sputter, could go like 5 miles an hour up the bridge, and now she's got the power of 6.4 liters and 390 cubic inches of America. I'm not gonna give her full beans, of course, because this is a dirt road and I don't want to dirty the cleaning job I just did. But tomorrow, or when it's sunny out, I'll take it out on the pavement and give her a pull for you guys to see. But for now, I'll just take her back. Got her parked back in for tonight. You might notice it has a little bit of an exhaust manifold leak, but I actually like the way that makes it sound. I think the older cars sound better with that. So I'm not gonna do anything about that anyway, but you can definitely hear it a little bit. Anyway, that's it for today. Now I'm gonna vacuum out the interior of this car. It looks like there's a fair amount of dog hair, as well as this is some buildup of, fungus from sitting in a garage for so long. And of course, it's all dirty there. So this stuff I'll use some leather cleaner, and this stuff I'll vacuum. Again, not a detailed job, just cleaning it up enough to be presentable for sale. We got areas like that need to be cleaned up. Steering wheel's pretty gross, pollen all over the dash. It's got mold. Let's go ahead and wipe everything down, see how it looks. Well, I cleaned it out and boy, does it look good. Take a look at the dashboard, the seats, the rear seats, the passenger seat. I used a little bit of shine for a product that had a shine in it. And wow, it really made it pop. And from the passenger side, take a look at all that. Everything is just cleaned out. And passenger side door panel. Nice. So that's going to be it for today, guys. And we're actually coming towards about the end of the repairs that I personally am going to be making on this Thunderbird. My main purpose was to make sure it ran well and that it was in better presentable cosmetic condition to list up for sale, and help the owner make the profits that this car should deserve. Which of course it wouldn't have gotten had it still been stuttering every time he gassed it, and if the interior was still moldy and the exterior was still dusty and covered in bat droppings. But in my professional opinion, and in the opinion of some of my commenters, who I agree with, going any further than I have at this point could actually take away from the value of the car. So for example, if I were to try to, touch up areas like this and I happen to make it look, unprofessional, which I would never do, but let's just say it happens, because it could happen. I would probably end up taking away from the value of the car. And say again, I decide to rebuild the carburetor, and I put in a new carb kit and everything, but then some guy's like, oh, this is not original? I don't know, I'm just throwing out hypotheticals. But something that maybe I wouldn't realize, and then some enthusiasts or hardcore enthusiasts would realize, and therefore take away from the value of the car. I don't want to be hurting the previous owner in the profits that he's going to receive, and of course, since I'm receiving a portion of that, I wouldn't want to harm my own profits either. So with that in mind, I believe it's wisest to stop where I have it, in pretty damn good shape, and it does run and drive amazingly. It's such a nice car to be cruising around in. Suspension is amazing, and it's a great cruiser. So I'm going to be stopping here with repairs most likely, unless something else happens, which I doubt it's going to, or unless you in the comments think there are some things that I still should take care of. You're welcome to write them below. But this is going to be listed up for sale very shortly. I'll try to do a couple more videos on it, maybe at least one of me, cruising around town with it and giving you guys a full test drive. Other than that though, Thunderbird's going to be moving on to a new home. So thank you guys very much for watching, and stay tuned for more projects coming to the channel because I got some more cool stuff coming.